I'm about to set a record for speedrunning. I'm about to be at least in the top 20,000. Or maybe 30,000. 40,000. Alright, let's go! Hello everyone, I am the Gnast Blast, and I'm here to analyze the truest classic there is, and the beginning of a franchise that warped my brain neurons many years ago, and guided my metamorphosis into what I am today. No game has affected my DNA more so than the purple reptile himself.
Look, there he is right there. Spyro, what up, baby? Huh?
The original Spyro trilogy is one of the greatest game trilogies ever created by God himself. And for the longest time, there was little hope we would ever get a true successor to the original Spyro games. There have been some attempts over the years, some mediocre, some completely different from your usual Spyro game, and others that are just downright awful. Some of which I have covered on this channel before, like the soul-crushing original Spyro 4, Enter the Dragonfly, which makes me feel as if my very being has been ripped apart from the inside out. Oh! Great. Yeah, just keep falling for eternity, Spyro. That's awesome. Or Spyro 5, A Hero's Tale, which wasn't nearly as bad, but was a little bland and missing the charm of the original series.
Red, tell me to stop you.
Oh, fat chance. I've beaten bigger baddies than you. All I have to do is run around you a few times while I figure out your weakness. Then I just hit you 3 times and...
Did he just kill Spyro? And eat sparks? Oh. Brown sparks. But recently, we got some insane news. Actual proof that God is real. Because out of nowhere, we got a reveal that Toys for Bob, the developers behind the Reignited trilogy, are releasing the true sequel to the OG trilogy, Spyro, A Realm Beyond, and it will be available to us all in the spring of 2027. I have never been so hyped for a game in my entire life, the closest being when the Reignited trilogy came out all the way back in 2018. And although it was a good step in the right direction, and just having Spyro 1, 2, and 3 all be remastered for newer audiences was pretty dope. But it was still a remake and wasn't exactly new content. But now things have changed, and Spyro is officially back on the menu. So, in celebration of this news, I have decided it is time to go back and play through all 3 of these divine games and give my analysis and review for each of them. Starting with the one that began everything, Insomniac's 1998 masterpiece, Spyro the Dragon. Now, most of my nasty analyses have been on old games that are strange or just outright bad that I have played or at least heard of before, and then I try to give my own personal takes and opinions on them. This game and its sequels will be a little different, because for one, they're not bad. I have played the first 2 Spyro games many times through my entire life, pretty much being some of my first exposure to the industry. I was playing this game before I could even register what colors even are. The brain cells in my soft skull weren't even generated yet when I was exploring the Dragon Realms. And every few years since then, I pick up the controller and go right back to Spyro. Especially after 2018, with the resurgence brought to us by the Reignited trilogy. And although I will make many comparisons to the remake, this analysis will be mainly on the originals, and with the help of some modifications, I can show the classic game with modern day technology, such as widescreen, higher frame rates, and resolution. And this review isn't meant to rag on the newer version at all. It looks amazing and is the best and easiest way to play this trilogy, and plus it just looks way better for newer audiences and such, but I prefer the OG, and that's what I want to focus on. Although it's pretty much the same game when it comes to levels and story beats, there are many differences in vibes, sounds, characters. There's just so much that the remake fails to replicate 100% correctly. And the thing is, the OG Spyro I feel is impossible to replicate correctly for everyone. The hardware was pretty limited, which in turn means less polygons. And when less polygons are present, well, there's a lot more left up to the imagination. And when you see the higher resolution models in the remake, some things just look a little strange, wrong even. Like this is not the same character that I had envisioned. So yeah, the games do have their differences, and of course everyone has their preferences, but I really want to get into this version. So without further ado, let's get into the Gnasty analysis of Spyro the Dragon. Collecting treasure, boy. And we kill all the Norks that stand in our way. Every single one. Spyro the Dragon is the beginning of the franchise and shows off many of the fundamentals to a perfect Spyro game, and what separates games that have Spyro in them from actual Spyro games. And the first main aspect is in the collecting, because Spyro foremost is a collectathon style game. The main thing to collect are these delicious, delectable gems. Look at this. Oh, yes! Burn it all, Spyro! All the treasure, yes! Scrump diddly yumptious. These are the main coin-like collectibles in all the main games, and every level has these littered around. Some on the ground, some in chests, and in this game, also acquired by slaying enemies. Gems are the most satisfying part about Spyro, especially when you get a good string of boxes torn through, or just find a room full of them. Spyro is treasure collecting. That is what it is at its core, and that's all I really want to do. Everything about them hits just right. The way they glisten, the sound they make when Sparks grabs them, even the way you get to see the gold treasure counter up in the top of the screen flip through the numbers as you acquire more of them. There's a certain amount in every level, so when you find them, it is like finding treasure, furthering your progress. Collecting these gems is Spyro at its core, but that's just the base collectible. The real collectible comes from dragon statues though. These are tied to the main plot of the game, which isn't very complex at all for this first game. Pretty much, the dragons seem to be pretty chill dudes, but don't like the main Nork, Gnasty Gnork, or Nasty Nork. I'm not too sure sometimes what to call him because he is called both in this game.
What about Gnasty Gnork?
Nasty Nork?
But anyways, Nasty Nork, who is a character I spiritually sympathize with, is pretty much not liked because he's dumb and fucking ugly. The humble beginnings.
What about this Gnasty Gnork character? Now,
Gnasty Gnork!
found a magic spell to turn
He's just like
gems
me
into
for
coins
real.
For his cause.
I'll take that question.
He's nasty just like me.
Nork is a simple creature. Simple. And is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
So he crashes out a little bit and turns every single dragon into a crystal statue. Well, all except one. This takes us to Spyro's first adventure, where we must traverse the 6 homeworlds of the Dragon Kingdoms, freeing all the dragon statues we see while slaughtering all the Norks alongside various other creatures. Collecting all 80 dragons though is the main objective. And this brings up one thing that I think the remake did superior to the main game. They went back and made each one of these individual dragons more unique and animated, giving them unique clothes and whatnot. The dragons do look different in the OG, but you can tell there are probably like 5 or 6 base dragon models that are recolored and stretched out a little bit for each individual dragon. And for the most part, all the dragons have a line with Spyro too, usually giving him a tip of some sort. But there are also a good bit that don't really add anything and just say the iconic line.
Thanks for releasing me.
So I do enjoy how Toys for Bob, the developers behind the Reignited trilogy, added to the dragon statues, making them visually more creative. Dragon statues and gems aren't the only collectible in this game though. There is one more. The dragon eggs are also needed to progress through a certain point in the game, and they are acquired by chasing down these little blue thief fucks and annihilating them. As a kid, hearing their taunts from around the room would depress me, because I knew I was about to have to deal with some actual bullshit. Although they are still annoying, they're not as bad as I remember, and for the most part, they are pretty easy to catch in this game. Dude didn't even start running yet. Didn't even fuck around yet, he just found out that Spyro's horns fucking hurt. But the noises still trigger me a little bit. Come on, dude, come on. It's all about not burning too quick. Oh! Spyro 1 had decent collectibles and laid the groundwork for the rest of the other games, only improving on these aspects in the second and third game. Another aspect that makes a Spyro game is the game mechanics themselves and how Spyro himself works. Spyro 2 and 3 of course add more and more functions to Spyro, but the first game is where it is at its most simple and basic. Of course, alongside walking and jumping, Spyro has 3 major actions that make his games: Flame, Charge, and Glide. All 3 of these actions dictate the platforming as well as the combat and even the collecting. Flame Breath is obviously for burning enemies alive, destroying wooden chests, and lighting fireworks that destroy giant chests. Then you go to the Charge, which serves as faster mobility and a deadly tool that Spyro can use to kill enemies that have shields or are fire resistant. There are also iron chests that Charge can burst through, and then finally Glide, the aspect that really separates Spyro from every other platformer of the era. Where most platformers like Mario or Crash Bandicoot focus on jumps or double jumps for extra height, Spyro is all about that long distance, finding a suitable location and then gliding from that point. It's simple, but pretty unique. Some of the best moments in Spyro games as a whole is finding a high up location and locating secret areas that you can only get to by gliding from that point. I have seen only the first trailer for the new Spyro game, and there's only a smidge of gameplay in it, but it does showcase what seems to be a form of free flight. I hope this is only for certain areas, and gliding is still fundamental to that game, because I cannot imagine Spyro without gliding. That is just like what his platforming is. But my hopes are pretty high, because Toys for Bob are developing this game too, so I believe they can be trusted to pass down the heart and soul of Spyro into this game. But I've already went over the first two aspects that make Spyro, the collecting and his platforming. But there are two more things that are needed, those being the world layout and the music. We all know the Spyro music is iconic and vibey as fuck, all made by Stuart Copeland, and it all started here with this game. I cannot imagine the series without it, so please, please, for the love of God, bring him back for the new Spyro game and any new Spyro games that come after it. Bring his ass back, please. Gnasty from the future here, and I got some bad news. During the editing process of this video, it has come out that Stuart Copeland is not returning for the new game. What the fuck? Now, unfortunately, there are some shenanigans afoot with the OG soundtrack and copyright stuff, so in this video, I'll probably be using the reignited versions in the background. But the revamped soundtrack is good too. Same music, just better quality and instruments, but I still do love the more simple retro tone of the old stuff. But along with the music, we also need a good atmospheric world with layouts similar to these old games. Spyro 1 again started the world formula of having separate homeworlds, all having other portals that lead to separate contained levels. This allows for more diversity in creative environments instead of blending things together in a single environment, kind of like what they try to do in a Hero's Tale. That kind of sucked. Please bring the portals back. But yes, world design, music, collecting, and gameplay are all things that Spyro 1 did insanely well. Good enough to warrant a franchise and multiple sequels. And even though numbers 2 and 3, and even the 4th game to an extent, all added more layers to these game mechanics with more abilities and characters, it all had the same basic structure that was formed here with Spyro 1. So now that we have the fundamentals of the game talked about, let's take a look at the actual levels of the game. Each of the homeworlds represents a faction of dragons in the Dragon Kingdoms. The first being Artisans, the home of the basic intellectual-esque dragon, which is represented better in the Reignited trilogy. This is a simple introductory type area that properly lets you figure out the basics of Spyro, with a lush green world with hills to learn your glides, scared Norks that shit their pants and run away, which are easy target practice, and even a waterfall pond area to show you that Spyro can't swim and will fucking drown if he touches water. There are also herds of sheep that hop around the meadows, peacefully grazing, just for us to come up and annihilate them so we can feed our trusty dragonfly Sparks, who's another unique aspect of these games, showcasing how much health Spyro has depending on his color. And like most of the other homeworlds, this one harbors 5 other portals that take us to other whimsical levels, 3 being basic levels, 1 being a boss level, and the last one usually being a secret flying level. Basic and boss levels are pretty much the same. The goal is to get to the end portal and collect all the dragons and gems you see along the way. Only thing is boss levels are a lot shorter and of course have a quote-unquote boss fight at the end, but the flying levels are different. As I've grown older, I've learned to appreciate them a little bit more, but as a kid I absolutely did not like these and would usually only do them at the end of the game if I was truly going for that 100% run. They only reward you a few hundred gems and no dragons. Not a whole lot of motivation to complete them sometimes. But the mechanics of these levels are unique and give us a taste of a Spyro with real flight, which I enjoy that aspect when it's in certain sections. Problem is this is a time challenge and the goal is to get these 4 separate entities all collected or killed. They are usually in a pretty easy to find path though, and once you figure out this main path that they want you to use, it's pretty simple. Although there are a few levels where I just randomly kind of fly around and I still end up completing it, so most of the time these are pretty easy. Just a little annoying, but there are ones that are better than others. Like this first one, which is hidden behind this waterfall and unlocked by jumping on these stones, a pretty cool way to find the level, but it just unlocks Sunny Flight and is not that great in my opinion and one of the most mediocre ones. I mean, I get it, it's the first one, so it's just gonna be, you know, basic and shit, but really not unique at all and doesn't stand out. In this level, you must blow up trains, go through hoops, find treasure chests, and destroy airplanes. Pretty basic, and I guess a decent intro to these types of levels. But let's go ahead and get into some of these real levels. The three main ones here are Stonehill, Dark Hollow, and Town Square. All very simple and short, just to let you get the hang of working the dragon. Stonehill is just more of the homeworld, pretty much, just with rams and shepherds everywhere who want to hurt Spyro. It's a small level and is pretty much just the level they expect you to do first, acting almost like a tutorial for the game. Dark Hollow is pretty dope though, one of my favorite locations. It's like the Stone Hills but at night, and there are Norks everywhere. I know apparently, according to the lore, that the Norks are half gnome and half Nork, hence the G in the name. But this location spawns a separate theory of mine. As a kid, I couldn't really tell you what a Nork was, but since they look like frogs, like these frogs right here, I thought they were just like overgrown frog people. Are these like their babies? They've got to be related. There's also this cool underground tunnel with fat shield guys that leads to a room of ooze. Very, very nice. I like ooze rooms. Then we got Town Square, a Spanish-themed world with bulls and bullfighters, with plenty of chickens running around to devour. PS1 games just have like an ethereal feel to them. It's hard to comprehend sometimes, or put into words. Just the infinite vastness of those polygons. Like, what lies beyond the mountains? After these three levels, we got the main boss of the Artisans' homeworld, who lies in this dope-ass dragon-mouth door. This is Toasty. Toasty is the first of 6 bosses in this game, most of which are unfortunately pretty lame. Yeah, one thing Spyro 1 doesn't do that well is boss fights. To the point where, as a kid, I didn't even know half of these were actual bosses. I thought they were just normal enemies. I mean, you hit these, like, frog thieves a few times. I thought it was, like, the same concept here. Just an enemy that you have to hit, like, 2 or 3 times. Like Toasty here. A scarecrow creature you must hit 3 times with your flame. And each time he loses a piece of himself, revealing a sheep underneath who wants revenge on Spyro. I mean, I can't really blame him. Spyro does annihilate a lot of sheeps. But he isn't hard at all, and the only real challenge from this level comes from these dog enemies that are actually a lot more threatening than the boss himself. Ow. No! I will not die. I will not die! No! The dog! This level is actually littered with these little fuckers, who require 2 hits to kill and have insane attack speed and accuracy. One of the hardest enemies to deal with in this game. And the music for the world feels ominous too, really making these dogs seem threatening. But with all those levels out the way and done, and acquiring at least 10 dragons, we can talk to the balloonist guy over here, which acts as the main transportation between homeworlds. This brings us to homeworld number 2, Peacekeepers. A desert canyon world inhabited by the strong war dragons, but now are inhabited by a militia of Norks, ones which show Spyro their bare booty cheeks when provoked. Perfect. Do it. Do it, please! There it is. There it is. This homeworld, theme-wise, isn't really my favorite, but I do love how there's a bunch of greasy Norks everywhere, ones we can murder, and even the ability to snatch their cannons away and use them against them. And God, I never get tired of these Nork ass cracks, man. I just love them. I just love them. The flying level here is also hidden behind a secret. By using a cannon to blow up a boulder, we can access night flight. Aesthetically, it's cooler than sunny flight, but later flying levels in this game and future games kind of steal the vibe and do it pretty much better. But it's pretty much a nighttime flying level where you gotta go through hoops, loops, get treasure, and burn lighthouses. It is pretty okay. The real levels here are pretty memorable though. Usually I don't like desert levels in video games, but Spyro does do them pretty decently. Dry Canyon is first, and although it is pretty basic, it's got some good action and exploration in it. Oh yeah, I forgot. You gotta curve around the mountain. I remember. Maximos. Ah! Spyro travels through this canyon while defeating more equipped Norks, this time with guns and battle vultures. Cliff Town is a little bit better though, taking place like the name suggests, in a cliff town. Here we fight big mama Norks alongside their metal compadres. The main thing this level is known for though, is this big ass glide you use to get over this giant canyon to get to this other secret area. Although this level is probably the first one to have some decently hidden gems that are a little tricky to find. Where the fuck are the gems at? What am I missing? Are there gyms in here? Alright, my speed run is getting very diminished right now. I wasn't really keeping track before, but it's definitely fucked. Well, maybe there's like a flying point, like a thing. Maybe over here. Ah, yes, I have succeeded. Oh my god, there's 5 left. And then we have Ice Cavern, which is a good switch up from the hot and dry levels. This is a good section that is pretty straightforward and doesn't have any shitty slippery ice physics, so that's a plus. And then finally we get to the boss of Peacekeepers, Dr. Shimp. A big old yellow Nork with a stick. But like many other Norks, his downfall is brought on by exposing his ass cheeks to Spyro. Never do that. He isn't tough or very intimidating, but I'd say he's better than Toasty. There you go. Yep. Death to Dr. Shimp. He wasn't a real doctor. But like Toasty, the enemies of this level are more intimidating than he is. I mean, these screaming schizophrenic Norks that run at you are pretty fucking freaky. They're little crackheads. Why are they screaming? Ow! Oh my god, they're just jumping to their death. I didn't even kill that guy, bro. He did it himself. Getting through these levels, though, and acquiring at least 1,200 treasure allows us to use the balloonist of this homeworld and to fly to the third homeworld. And probably my favorite of them all, Magic Crafters. And I think this was the developer's favorite too, considering it's used as the home screen. Magic Crafters is a frosty mountain peak world home to the wizardy and magical dragons, as well as these wizard creatures I was certain were bird people as a kid. These worlds get away from the Nork enemies for a bit and focus on these wizards and their creatures. The first level here showcasing a lot of them. Alpine Ridge is a nice mountain level with a brown autumn feel, showcasing more long-range gliding for Spyro, as well as this moment. I'm trying to get as little deaths as possible. Spyro. Uh-oh. Spyro. How did I die right there? Spyro just started crying in immense pain. He looked like he was screaming, but he was in so much pain that no noise was coming through. Lots of magical foes reside here, like I said, like the tall green wizards that control the land, affecting platforming, and we also have the short and stubby shield ones, and their horrifying yellow beasts. We also got some of the fat-ass snow wizards here too. This level's a good beginning to Magic Crafters, but this is where levels start to become a smidge more challenging, like high caves. Spyro about to be blazing it. This level has some wacky mechanics and also the most annoying wizard type, these tornado wizards. The main aspect of this level being this section over here where we get introduced to the charge ramp mechanic, a thing that gives me the hardest time for whatever reason when it comes to Spyro. These things are in all the main Spyro games, and this is the very first one. At least this section has fairies to pick you up if you fall, and pretty much being the only spot in this game that does that. And this level also probably holds the most horrifying creatures in the entire game, maybe even the fucking series. That being these giant metal spiders that live in these caves. They are pretty much invincible, and if you step into their domain, they chase you. Pretty horrifying. Ah yes, the spider cave. Get the fuck away from me! Oh. Those things are terrifying, but I just noticed that they have giant ass cheeks on them. Look, it's got a giant ass! Let me through! Glide! Do they not move from that spot? Come on, crawl around. Ah! I knew that thing was chasing me. I could feel its breath on my neck. No, no, no! The most heart-pounding moment in the entire game. But you need to face your fears to 100% because they do hold gems. So they do need to die. But how, you may say? Well, this level also introduces the mechanic of these fairies that make out with Spyro, giving him super turbocharged flame breath for a limited time. This can be used to destroy enemies that can't die by normal means. This is a mechanic I like a lot more than the charge ramps, which is bad news for the next level because it's all about charge ramps. Wizard Peak is a big level, and I do enjoy the vibe and all the enemies we fight, like these snow golems and these little electric wizards. However, there are a lot of points where the turbocharge must be used, and for whatever reason, even though I beat this game countless times, I still always mess this up. Oh, Spyro, no! Spyro! No! Alright, this is where all my deaths are gonna come from. I was a fool to think I could do any of these games without dying. And Spyro? Nah, I'm not gonna die. I played it like a million times. I think I've died like 8 times now. Come on, Spyro. Come on, Spyro. No! Let's glide! Fuck! 10 lives left. Oh, fuck, dude. Okay, maybe... Am I doing this wrong? Before this level, I think I died like... Fuck! What is going on? What am I doing wrong here? I died maybe like 3 or 4 times. But then this level happened. What the f... Am I supposed to just hold the charge and not jump at all? Let's try that. Let me try just full charge and no jump. I should not be dying this much to this. I don't remember this ever being an issue for me before. Jesus. I can't afford too many other times, dude. I've only got 5 lives left. I'm definitely not going to get a game over. I will not get a game over in Spyro. I haven't gotten a game over in Spyro since I was like fucking 3 years old. Fuck! This is insane. Dude, what the fuck is going on? I am now officially starting to get pissed. That's not the right way. It can't be. This legit cannot be the right way. There we go. I don't know what the fuck I did differently that time. Maybe I just needed more speed? Maybe I needed 2 ramps? But that was some horse honky, let me tell you. Never thought I would rage at Spyro, dude. Not my boy. Although these levels do introduce some more challenging aspects to the game, I still really like them, and they are unique, which can't be really said for the flying level of this homeworld. Crystal Flight is pretty much Night Flight, but with more crystals laying around. Cool, I guess. Yeah, dope. The boss level here isn't really that much to write home about either. Main thing memorable about this is, his name. Yes, who could forget? Who could forget? Blowhard. Yes. Well, shit, she better. Alright, let's go. Blowhard. Well, I'll be blowing harder. Blowhard is a very quick linear level. It's just that the boss is another one that doesn't really seem all too much like a boss, unfortunately. Once Blowhard is no longer hard, and 5 dragon eggs have been acquired, we may fly on over to the world of the Beast Makers. Tuco. Nice, 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 yeah. Keep bringing me more of those. More of those eggs. Blue, yellow, pink. Just, yeah, keep bringing me those. This is the dingy swamp world, home to the big burly bayou dragons, and a soundtrack of mysterious noises. This is the spooky world, full of malicious creatures and some tougher platforming. The vibe here being even more dark and eerie than how it's portrayed in the remake. Some of these creatures just look more horrifying too in low poly, like these boars. They have the eyes in front. Usually the boars have them on the side, you know, but no, these are predators. Or wait, do pigs have eyes on the front or the side? I don't know. I'm trying to picture a pig in my head right now. I think they're on the side. I think they're prey animals, but I don't know. I've seen hogs be pretty aggressive. These things have little bat wings. I just noticed that. They have tiny little... I thought those were ears. Oh, yep. I remember that guy likes to jump you. Likes to get you when you least expect it. But I've been through here before. I know the schemes. The first level here is Terrace Village. A pretty decent straightforward level, mainly focusing on the gimmick of these electric Norks that shock the ground. There's also this one dragon here who a little bit more extra than the others. Cyprian? Whoa, why are you like that?
One day you'll be...
You ain't gotta be coming out like that. All laid up all sexual like. All the other dragons were standing up, man. Like, why are you in that position? Misty Bog is the next level, and is one of the more challenging when it comes to combat. There being a lot of quick and ruthless enemies like these lightning fast poison frogs, and these fake bushes that devour Spyro. Also a ton of Norks are here too, but they're not much of a threat compared to these other creatures. This is another level that has a completely different vibe from the remake. It seems like the vibes of Beastmakers is the one that got changed the most when coming over to the Reignited trilogy. Although there are some tough enemies in Misty Bog, I'll take this level over Treetops any day. Treetops is a level I look forward to the least when it comes to playing Spyro 1. Mainly just when you're going for the 100% though. If you're not doing that, it's fine and I can enjoy it. but there are a couple real shitty charge ramps. One specifically I always have to look up every single time I do this because I always just forget how it goes. It's a little, you know, complicated when it comes to Spyro stuff. Just compared to everything else in this game, this is one that requires a little bit of skill and brain mechanisms. I have to run up this ramp and then go over there on that ramp. That's how it's done. But the question is, how? And why? Let me analyze the situation here. Okay, so there's that ramp. Okay, wait. Man, this fucking path. Alright, you know what? I looked it up and it is some bullshit. It is some bullshit. Where am I? I'm in the wrong spot. But yeah, I was kind of on the right path anyway. It's just, I would not have gotten this by myself. Even though I've done this, like, I don't even know how many times. I gotta go this way. This is the one part I can do all the Spyro games without looking anything up except for this one spot. It is, in fact, bullshit. But let me show you. Let me show you what we're working with. So, from my understanding, it goes a little something like this. You gotta go this way. Bink, alright. And then this way. And then this way. Oh no, dude! I was so close. Well, that's the idea. I can do it again. I swear I pressed the damn jump button. Ah, man. It's all about the motion, baby. It's all about the motion. Ah, dude, what the hell? I'm mashing it. Alright. Ah, fuck! Alright, this time I got it. Ah, I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to lose it, boys. I only have 3 lives left. Alright, please. Oh, you got it! Yes! Oh, sweet Jesus. Give me that gem. Anyways, Treetop sucks if you're trying to complete it. At least Wild Flight is a decent flying level. I like it way more than the previous ones, mainly because it's unique in its layout, pretty much just being 2 different loops where you can hit 2 different items at the same time if you have the skills. It's pretty dope and satisfying. And then of course we got the boss level, that being Metalhead. Another short level that is mainly just a boss room with 2 other small areas. Metalhead himself though is the most visually threatening and unique boss, actually looking somewhat like a boss fight. He is this giant ass robot with a mohawk that shoots electricity and is powered by these poles. The way to defeat him is to simply destroy the poles with a charge when they are green and avoid them when they are red. Do this 2 times and yeah, he's fried. Still really easy, but hey, at least he looks cool. And like the other worlds, you must acquire a certain amount of a collectible to use the next balloonist. And here it is freeing 50 dragons. Once that is said and done, we can move on to the 5th homeworld of the game. This is Dreamweavers. This is the homeworld of all the wacky and whimsical dragons. Okay, I thought that M was an N for a second. As well as dreamlike creatures that may or may not have some extra chromosomes. Okay. That should have went through. Why did it not go through? Pinhead Larry's dead. This homeworld has a lot of the dreamlike and trippy levels that many people associate with this game, some of which could be argued as being the most iconic Spyro levels. Dreamweavers as a homeworld is pretty cool too, and unique, being a bunch of floating islands with pieces of beautiful architecture littered about, and having these strange creatures that change form when they are shot by a magical cannon that's located in the center of the world. One thing I always think about when I play the Reignited trilogy though, is how I miss the sounds. The sounds of these creatures are just so iconic. Just straight up 10 out of 10 sound design. And for the most part, the beautiful Nork noises were changed too. But at least they did the wizards and magic crafters pretty accurately. Anyways, the first level of this world is Haunted Towers, a level that is primarily based around the fairy smooch gimmick, where Spyro must get freaky with fairies in order to destroy a bunch of metal knights being controlled by other wizards. There is a couple of charge ramp areas, but they aren't too bad here, and also an area where Spyro can get kissed by a fairy that gives him permanent super breath. Well, at least for the remainder of this level. Next up is one of my favorites, Dark Passage, a spooky nighttime level that takes place inside this hollowed out mountain. The gimmick here does introduce some of the worst enemies in the game. These dumbass timer imps, or just whatever the hell they are, dude. I honestly don't even know. The main thing is that they are on a timer, and when they go off, their light goes away, turning the cute animals around into horrible nightmare creatures. The turtles being the worst because they become invincible. But this level is fun as hell with a good bit of combat, satisfying glides, and a pretty straightforward objective, with one hidden route that could be looked over if it's your first time playing Spyro. All in all, pretty good. And then we got one of the most popular Spyro levels ever, Lofty Castle. I mean, there's so much about this level that's just fantastic. The music and vibes are off the charts, and you got a fair bit of exploring to do by Spyro 1 standards. You also got goofy Nork enemies that are just floating around on balloons, some interesting enemies in the form of these flying pig things, and the sexually deviant devils, as well as a whole mechanic of freeing these caged fairies to create new whirlwinds to glide into. Pretty sweet if you ask me. And next up, we got the final flying level of the game, Icy Flight, which is, I mean, alright. Probably one of the easiest ones to be honest, but nothing super unique about it, just another nighttime flying level, this time with some icicles. Only level left here now is the boss, Jaquez, or Jaquez? I've always read it like Jaquez. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I have no idea, but that's how I've been pronouncing it for 20 years. He's a green fucked up Jack that has escaped his box and just hops around until he gets his ass blown out by Spyro. The boss himself isn't much, but the level is pretty intimidating, being pretty much the only lava level in Spyro 1, and home to some weird ass nightmare creatures, as well as having more of these dumbass timer dudes that I hate. How about I scurry you away over there, toward that way. Oh, you little bitch. You little fucker. Oh man, these little assholes. Oh, jeez. Ugh. Okay, these are probably the most annoying enemy, but it's still pretty memorable. And after taking on these levels and mainly acquiring 6,000 gems, we can now use the final air balloon guy to go to the 6th and final homeworld of the game, Gnasty's World. This is a realm home to Gnasty, Gnorc, and isn't actually part of the Dragon Kingdom. This is just a garbage dump that Gnasty is banished to, kind of like the Grinch. Honestly, I feel kind of bad for the Gnasty guy, but maybe that's just because I'm a little nasty too. Anyways, this homeworld is the smallest, pretty much just being a platform in the middle of the water with some dragon head portals. Unlike the other worlds, Gnasty's world only has 3 levels and an extra secret bonus level once you 100% the game. The first 2 being the last real levels, first of which being Gnorc Cove, a harbor type level where the goal is to blow up all the TNT hurling Gnorcs and battle through their ships. Pretty decent, I always enjoy it. These are just blue collar workers, dude, and they're trying to like protect their livelihood. You see a big fucking lizard coming around, tearing up your workplace, you're probably going to chuck some explosives at it. The second is the real final test, Twilight Harbor. This is the level where the Gnorcs are putting up their final fight with Spyro and pretty much just saying fuck it and whipping out the machine guns and grenades. I love the fact that the Gnorcs have these weapons in this level. You know, it shows that they're getting pretty desperate and they're whipping everything out. And it just sucks that in the Reignited trilogy, they censored it. They gave the Gnorcs like paint guns instead of actual guns. It just kind of diminishes the vibe here and the goofiness of the Spyro games. It's one of the only gripes I have with the Reignited trilogy. But yeah, this is a threatening level with an orange sunset atmosphere, symbolizing the day of the Gnorcs is coming to an end. Because Spyro is slaughtering every single last one of them. Spyro was just waiting for the day. He was just waiting for the day for the Gnorcs to do something and mess up. Like, alright, it's time. Time to cause some chaos. And once this level is complete, it is time for the final boss of the game, Gnasty Gnorc himself. And his boss fight sucks ass. I mean, it's not hard or anything, it just sucks. Literally, this whole level is a chase sequence. First, you chase 2 random thieves for their keys, then you chase Gnasty Gnorc around in a shitty dump, breathe on him. He just shit out a gem. This was up his ass, kind of like a butt plug of sorts. Then he starts jumping around the lava room, then you breathe on him a second time, and then he's dead. Rip Gnasty Gnorc. He deserved better than this, man. Why'd they do my man so dirty? He does actually get a better boss fight in the 5th game, A Hero's Tale, for some odd reason. I don't know how they made him nastier in that game and not in like a good way. I don't know. But I'm just gonna say that game isn't really canon, and I think Gnasty Gnorc is dead, dude. I'm sorry to say. The real shit thing is the other bad boss fights in the game are better than this. Metalhead is like this, but better, with more things to hit and stuff. Fuck, dude, I mean, Dr. Shimp was more of a boss fight than Gnasty Gnorc. The boss fights get so much better in the next couple games, but damn it, dude, Spyro 1 did drop the ball when it came to boss fights. Anyway, defeating Gnasty, and then acquiring all gems, eggs, and dragons, then allows us to access the super secret final level of the game, Gnasty's Loot. There is no real difficulty to this, but there is a unique mechanic going on here. True flight, in a way. You see, the goal is to fly around Gnasty's domain and acquire every last gem, totaling in 2,000. And the trick is you have free flight, pretty much as high as wherever you jump off from. So you gotta keep getting higher and higher while chasing thieves to acquire more keys. And in the end, we find Gnasty's personal room and, well, we blow it the fuck up. Blow it all up. Collect all the gems! Suck them up, suck them up, suck them up. Spyro. The magenta ones are the best ones. Is that it? Did we do it? Watch those numbers turn. 2,000. It's complete. Acquiring the last few gems, saving the Dragon Kingdom, and finishing Spyro's very first journey and his very first game. Spyro the Dragon is a game I love and cherish with all my soul. And if there's one franchise to get me pumped to make videos for, it's this one. I plan on making a level tier list for this game, as well as a bunch of other rankings down the line. And of course, I'm going to do analysis videos on Spyro 2 and 3 as well. I mean, as of the writing of this script, I've already filmed and recorded the playthrough of Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. That is my favorite Spyro game, and probably one of my favorite games to ever exist. Potentially being my most favorite game of them all. So that will be a very passionate video when that eventually comes out. If you like the gameplay and commentary segments from this video, and want to go watch more, I have edited gameplay videos of all the games I've covered, and then some, over at my second channel, the Gnastcast, link in the description. With the announcement of the new Spyro game, I am juiced and ready to pump out some Spyro content, all the way to the release of the new one, with some other videos here and there, you know, about other games and such. But Spyro is probably about to be my main squeeze for the next year. Anyways, if you stayed to the end of this video, I really do appreciate it, and if you have any fond memories of these games or any other opinions, let me know in the comments. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a Gnasty good night, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bink. Get fried. Like, that's the only thing that Spyro Enter the Dragonfly got right, was the implementation of the new breath types. Frost breath and electric breath, you gotta have those. We could do without the bubble breath though, that was kind of lame. In the Hero's Tale, they brought back the different breath types and shit, but they replaced the bubble breath with water breath, which if you think about it is just Spyro spitting on him, which I mean, I could do without that one too. I think one of the Legend of Spyro games implemented like poison breath, which I guess is just like really bad fucking stinky fart breath, which I guess you have to decide what you like better. Spyro spitting on a dude or just breathing on it with his stank ass breath. I don't know.